I've known for a long time that the best place for an awesome selection of dots and shaker bits was this Calls for Confetti, but now I found out they have way more than just confetti. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik, and here's just an assortment of some of the confetti that I have from this Calls for Confetti. They have the traditional shaker bits, and they have what they're calling the dazzle dots, which are really cool. And I have quite a few of these, and this is the card that I made for one of my grandsons with those and something else that I found at this Calls for Confetti. They now have dies and stencils and stamps, and this one was called Love Bigfoot die, and I just couldn't resist him. So I made a shaker card using these Gen Xer Dazzle dots and a few other beads in there, and then I put Bigfoot on there, XOXO Love and Kisses from Grandma, and you can see that his hands make a little heart up there. Then on the inside it says Big Hugs for Big Foot. So I had great fun making that. Now, of course, all the details on all the cards I share and the products featured will be on my blog, and links to the blog post and products featured are in the description box. But here's another card that I made with that Big Feet die, and also with some matching stamps, sentiments, and dies to cut those sentiments out. So it says, you know what they say about big feet. Big heart. Have an unbelievable Valentine's Day. So this is for my older grandson, and it's funny. You know what they say about big feet? Big heart. And Bigfoot pops up as he opens the card, as does the sentiment piece. And I'm going to show you how I made this while I make one for my husband. So I used Karen Burniston's Flip Frame Pop-Up die set. This is a generic pop-up that can pop up just about anything, and there's a bunch of frames included, but the only piece we're really going to use is this piece right here. That's the apparatus piece, and then I did use one of the stitched frames to make a sentiment piece. So I am starting with needing some room, so let me move all this stuff here. I'm starting with a 5x7 card base. Now, to do the double pop-up, you do need a larger card. Either a 5x7 will work, or I have done it on a slimline as well. So I didn't have any more of this paper that I used on my grandson, so I decided to create a forest scene with this 4-piece stencil set called Forest Landscape, also from this Calls for Confetti. So it has 4 stencils that you can use to create a forest scene, and I've done that on the inside here. I've just started with some paper that kind of looks like a sky, and then I added a forest landscape here, and so this is ready to go. I also created a stencil by cutting out my Bigfoot for that last card. This part here isn't very detailed, but the feet are all I really needed. So on this piece here, I just stenciled some black big feet. Okay, so that's going to be the front of the card, and that's ready to go. So let's work on the double flip frame Bigfoot pop-up on the inside. So I have cut out 2 of those apparatus pieces that I showed you, and when you do one where you want it to pop up on this side, you fold down on all of the folds, and there are 3 of them. You fold down in mountain folds. But when you want it to be a double one and you want it to pop up on this side, you're going to fold everything in valley folds. So there are 3 folds, and you fold in valley folds to have it pop up on this side. So this part of the apparatus really shows when you, especially on the Big Foot side. So I've covered that up. I just cut another apparatus piece and then trimmed off the front piece here and added some of this pattern paper so that it kind of matches. So when we want this to pop up on this side, we're going to attach the tab where there's just one fold. That's going to get attached in the right up to that fold on the left side, and the apparatus itself is going to be over here. Now I need it to be up at least 3 inches or so because I want this piece to pop up. So we don't want this hanging down here. We need it to be in the card. So I figured out I needed to go up about 3 inches. And I've attached 2-sided score tape on both of the end smaller tabs. So I'm going to remove the cover on this one. Now you can use glue, of course, but I get a little too impatient to have it to wait. So I use score tape on this part. So I know I want to be up about this far. And I'm putting it right in the fold right up to that. And then I'm going to lay it flat, and I want both of these tabs up, but adhesive only on the top small one. So, and then I am going to I'm going to fold this down and push, and that one is done. And we have enough room to attach this. Then we're going to do it again up here. But this time I'm going to attach it on the right side of the fold because I want it to be over here. So right up against to that center fold, I'm going to attach this, just the side that has just one tab. And so we're going to put it in like pretty much all the way to the top, right up to that fold. And then once again we're going to have the 2 tabs up, but only adhesive on the upper one for now. And then I'm going to close this, and our 2 apparatuses are done. So you can see that's a really easy way to have pop-up elements in your card. And then I am going to have this pop up. So I need to add some adhesive. To this flap here. Scissors. I think I'm going to use a combination of a little glue and score tape. So I don't have to be quite so patient, but yet this area here will also have some adhesive on it. And I'll remove the cover on this one. And then I'm going to lay this flat against that and close it down and press. And you can see how that pops up. And that's the punchline, of course. It's a little close to that center, but it'll work. Probably should move it over a little bit, but it's attached. Okay, so now we're going to take our Bigfoot. I have die cut him out of brown this time and added a little inking. And his big heart is a punch that I punched out of glitter paper. And we're going to give him a big heart. And then I want this to pop up with his foot on that apparatus. So I have some two-sided tape there. And I think I'll add a little glue too. And then I'm going to fold down on this and give it a good press. We're going to make a cover with this. And see, could you see how that, yeah, these two are not working together real well here, but they will work. So I can pop it up and then fold that one down and then fold that one on top. And that is working. I'm going to attach the front. And then I stamped and die cut, you know what they say about big feet. But I didn't know if that would stand out enough there, so I wanted to show you a little trick that I learned. If you have a die, a sentiment die that does not have a shadow, you can make your own. And so what you do is you take the die that cuts out the sentiment, you flip it over, and you trace it along the edge of the die. So I've traced it along the edge of that die, and now I would cut it out just on the inside of those lines and keeping it rounded as I go. So I've done one here to save a little time, and that is the shape that I ended up with. And so when I put it on here, I now have a shadow for it, and it's going to stand out much nicer when I add it to the card front. So on just about any sentiment die that you have that doesn't have a shadow, you can create your own using the die. So that's kind of a fun trick to remember. Yeah. So this is the Valentine for my husband. You know what they say about big feet. Big heart with a pop-up Bigfoot and a pop-up sentiment in the inside of the card. I love this Bigfoot die and everything I found it. This calls for confetti. I hope my cards encourage you to give some of the ideas and products a try, and then have some fun creating and send some of that joy out into our world.